presentation from my other colleagues. I think all of the qualities that have mentioned by Sattar and morning, Sakit, all these qualities such as the entrepreneurship, presentation, getting out of that typical and conservative shell which used to be the Munshi subject. We have to get out of that to number one, become a successful CFO. CEO is half step from CFO. I have experienced all these things that we have discussed and read in the books. It's just a half step from the CFO. If you execute your business for the good execution of the business, you have to understand the business very well. And if you do that with the skill of and with the, something which you back as an entrepreneur or owner, then you are a success, not only adding the value to your organization as a CFO, but you are becoming in the limelight to become a successful CEO. Right? So,
Yaqub mentioned his role 10 years back when he was the only accountant in a room full of engineers. Today I'm in the reverse position. Anyway, what I think is a lot of things have already been covered, especially the morning session papers have also very available manner, Mr. Yaqub. And like you see, times have really changed. And I think the conventional old role of an accountant or a CFO has seen a lot of changes. Now with the new technology coming in, especially SAP systems, ERP systems, I think now accountants have much more valuable time available to indulge into more issues, strategic issues or planning issues where they can play a much more effective role in helping the organization.
I'm not sure some of the accountants will agree that they have enough time.
I know they keep on asking for more and more manpower. That's another issue. But anyway, but what I believe is, and I would also like to share one more thing with you. I think about 20 years back, I somehow came across a book which said that professions like engineers and accountants have an inherent problem that they find it very difficult to delegate as they go up the corporate ladder. Probably we feel that no one can do it better than ourselves. So I think this is one thing, especially the youngsters sitting at the backbenches. I think they should take a note of it. That they must make a conscious effort to empower those who are working with them and to delegate more and more. By doing that, they will not only be developing their juniors, but would also sort of have more valuable time available to them to indulge into more productive activities. This is one thing.
Sense of ownership should be there.
Of course, that has to be there.
I agree with Anusab that these days, unless you delegate to your team members, they will not have the ownership of the thing. And unless they have the ownership, they won't be able to give 100% of what they have. Taking the discussion further, sir, as a CEO, you're working for years and years in finance, moving from CFO position to CEO position. What was the initial experience? Is it something that was like business as usual or something was drastically different?
It cannot be the same. The challenges of a CEO are entirely different from the challenges of a CEO. The dynamics of the business, the acceptability element of a new CEO, to having to have to do all the networking, to be seen to be a CEO, and also to get the support of the board and your employees. It engages many challenges. You have the basic ingredients in you in terms of the knowledge of the business. You have the ingredients as far as knowing the people around you, but you have to be a person who have to be acceptable as a leader. And the attributes of a leadership are very, although we all have leadership qualities in different functions, but it has to be more on a global basis. Every area, CFO has got his own set of challenges, but CEO has, again, a very, very different role. I never wear a CFO hat when I'm a CEO. Quite to the contrary, that I always am looking at functions which I don't know that well. I leave that function to the CFO to handle. And that is the lead because I know that area very well. And I can handle it whenever I want to. The other areas that you need to focus on, you need to be acceptable in the organization and outside the organization. So that is the biggest challenge. And that is the challenge that you have to work on, at least as a new CEO. Then you need to do more than that. You have to look after the strategic side of the business. Now, you may have partners in that, both internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. But the role of the CEO is to give a strategic direction to the business and look towards the future and to be able to match to the expectations of sustainability and also the stakeholders' confidence. And when I talk about stakeholders, I don't only mean the shareholder. You have a stakeholder which is internally, it is your people, your board, your shareholders. Externally, you have government, you have communities, you have social responsibilities, you have environmental responsibilities, you have ecology responsibilities. The sustainability becomes your major theme and your thought process. And it totally diverts from your narrow vision of corporate governance. It is very important, but it becomes a much broader vision in terms of good governance. And good governance, not only by the definition of the code, but in a more broader sense.
Right. Khalsa, I'll just sort of stay with you for a second. There are CFOs sitting, future CFOs sitting, and you said that the transition from as a CFO to CEO was very different. Any word of advice, or maybe if it was up to you, if you can change the clock, what will you do differently as a CFO then, so that your transition was much easier as CEO?
The question, because there are no fixed equation.
As if it's only you. Obviously,
Yeah.
personality is different, but if you were to sort of do things differently, then, or maybe...
I think I did things the way that I did were correct, so therefore I got to this position. So I would like to do anything differently than what I did. But obviously there are a lot of experiences that you learn from your, a lot of things that you learn from your experience. And you need to take advantage of those to what you did not do so well and how you can further develop on it. I mean, for example, people management is one of the most important things in the role of a CEO. I mean, if you can be rash when you are a CFO, but you definitely cannot do it when you are a CEO.
So I'll take it that you're suggesting to people that those CFOs, they need to develop the skills of people management to make their transition easier.
It is the key thing to get your team to be working with you and to be acceptable within your team. That is the success of any culture or any organization. If you need ownership into whatever you're doing, you can never succeed. This role of the CEO is not an individual's